Welcome to Sinister Heroes. I'm your host, Danny Iniquitous. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, this is a channel about Dungeons & Dragons where we try and take a darker tone with everything we do here. So if you like edgier kind of content, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. A big thank you to our Patreon supporters. We love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And a big thank you to our good friends over at Critical Failures, where we're part of a live stream game. If you're interested in any of those, the link is in the description. Absolutely check them out. And with all that out of the way, we're going to jump into this week's video. We're talking about the Oath of the Watcher's Paladin. The Oath of the Watcher's Paladin comes to us from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. It is one of the newer paladins that have come out, and when I think of the Oath of the Watchers, I love the idea of someone that's a vigilant overseer of a land or an area, because it's so great to come up with an evil character with that mindset. It has a couple of tenets that I think kind of really reflect that. One of them is vigilant. The threats you are facing are cunning, powerful, and subversive. Be alert for their corruption. Loyalty. Never accept gifts or favors from fiends or those who truck with them. Stay true to your order, comrades, and your duty. And discipline. You are the shield against endless terrors that lie beyond the stars. Your blade must be forever sharp, and your mind keen to survive what lies beyond. I love the tenets behind this because it's kind of this great example of what makes evil so attractive. The ideology behind evil isn't always just, I want to do harm. That's a big component of it, don't get me wrong. But the ideology that the path to hell is paved with good intentions really reflects well. There's a great concept of, I'm trying to be the shield for the world, but it has to be my way. And being a tyrant about that is really fantastic. You can be for some reason, a space tyrant really sticks out to my mind because, Darth Vader's awesome. But if you only care for your elite few, you can set up this ideology that those are your people. And in order to protect the world, you're going to need those people in order to do it. So that could be your party, that could be whatever group you're part of, and then you take anything that stands against you as that being the corruption that's infecting you. Because evil never sees themselves as evil. It always just seems like they're this champion of this whatever idea that they have, and that's what really makes it so attractive. Like this ideology of I'm doing the right thing and I'm making this great sacrifice to make this world better. I see this world this way, and it just so happens to be I'm the one to rule it. Is this cool, very intricate way of playing with the perception of what good really is and at what price it may come from. And playing with that kind of idea is really something I just find it fascinating. I think it's exciting. I mean, what if you're following a hero the whole time and it turns out they're the bad guy? That's something that's very along the lines of the stuff that I'm into as far as fictional things, stories that have what if you made a mistake? What if your belief was wrong and you don't know it, and you're continuously doing these horrific acts? That creates a great duality of character, and I think that's a fun character to play, and it's challenging in the idea behind it. So with all the paladin subclasses, you do gain oath spells, which is cool. A lot of these are great for the idea of removing a corruption or something that should not be there. Alarm is to protect you from it. Detect magic, you can detect things obviously that are magical that may or may not be dangerous to you. Moonbeam basically shows true form for anything that's a shapeshifter. See invisibility, counterspell, non-detection, aura of purity, banishment, scrying, hold monster. They're all great for, they're great outside of Moonbeam, damaging spells that uncover or help you remove an issue. And that's really great. I think that's a cool way to conceptualize the ideology behind the character and set a basis for what your abilities kind of should look like, or how the theme kind of makes abilities want to look like. Again, you don't have to use them. You're a paladin. It's a hard issue getting away from smites, but you get in channel divinity at 3rd level. You get 2 of them. One of them is Watcher's Will. You can use your channel divinity to invest your presence with the warding power of your faith. As an action, you can choose a number of creatures you can see within 30 feet of you, up to a number equal to your charisma modifier. For 1 minute, you and those chosen creatures have advantages on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. The next is Abjure Extraplanar. You can use your channel divinity to castigate unworldly beings. As an action, you present your holy symbol, and each aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, or fiend within 30 feet of you that can hear you must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature's turn for 1 minute or until it takes damage. The turn creature must spend its turn moving as far away from you as it can, and it can't willingly move in a space within 30 feet of you. For its action, it can only use a dash action or try to escape from an effect that prevents it from moving. If there's nowhere else to move, the creature takes a dodge action. Again, this works really great for undead, though you do already have undead spells and abilities like this. Like the cleric has that pretty hand in hand. I'm pretty sure the paladin does. I just don't currently remember. I haven't played a paladin a little bit now. But the way you use these abilities is unique. Watcher's Will, you gotta know what you're fighting. If you're fighting a caster, if you're in the Feywild where they use a lot of charms and things like that and illusions, that really comes in clutch, because that makes a very big difference, because a lot of those spells that affect wisdom or charisma tend to be spells that prevent your characters or your party members from being able to take offensive actions against whoever casts them, or stunning them, or paralyzing them, or making them incapacitated. Whatever it is, like, those are the spells you kind of really want to be wary of, especially like intelligence can really be a hampering effect. Abjure Extraplanar is basically fear for entities that are usually immune to fear, and I love that because I love fear, so it works really well. Again, this is something you got to take your time and usage for, because if you use this, you cannot attack. So you got to kind of weigh the weights and measures of what exactly you're up against and the kind of scale of the circumstance. This is great at the beginning of a combat because this can help separate and focus targets, especially if you're in a party with people that don't really use tactics or work well together on like a mechanical stage for the actual combats. It's a great thing. Maybe use your action to hold this until after the wizard goes and casts fireball everywhere. This would be a great way to have that happen. Next, at 7th level, you gain Aura of the Sentinel. You emit an aura of alertness while you aren't incapacitated. When you or and any creatures of your choice within 10 feet of you roll initiative, you all gain a bonus to initiative equal to your proficiency bonus. And at 18th level, this aura increases to 30 feet. Going first is great. If you can have your whole party go first, that is going to be significantly beneficial. That makes combat encounters that are not boss encounters significantly better for you, because you can wipe out a tremendous amount of enemies before they have a chance to attack, saving you a lot of resources over time. The longer a combat goes, the more depleting it is on your adventuring time and how many combats you can actually survive. You want to win these combats as fast as possible, because that is what gives you the most resources to beat the boss at the end of whatever dungeon or whatever circumstance you're in, if you're in a situation where you do multiple combats. At 15th level, you gain Vigilant Rebuke. You've learned how to chastise anyone who dares wield beguilements against you and your wards. Whenever you or a creature you can see within 30 feet of you succeeds on an intelligence or wisdom or charisma saving throw, you can use your reaction to deal 2d8 plus your charisma modifier force damage to the creature that forced the saving throw. This works with Watcher's Will, obviously, so you want to have this up to gain the most benefit of it. This is very circumstantial because it situates itself on a couple of moving parts. A, your party members have to make that save. They have advantage on that save, but it also is really dependent on their kind of sets. Like, a lot of people dump with intelligence. So with intelligence out of the marker, that's a negative deficit that you're going to have to overcome a lot of the times. Advantage helps cover that. It does, but it doesn't guarantee you anything. So you're working from behind at the start. But if it does work, you do deal, you use your reaction to deal 2d8 plus your charisma modifier. In which case, you're a paladin, your reaction Doesn't come up that often unless you have something that will give you additional uses of reaction. A lot of times I see paladins run up, and even when I've played them, the enemies don't tend to move away from you. So it's very rare that you have to use of your opportunity attack. So keep that in mind. And at 20th level, your final ability is called Mortal Bulwark. You manifest a spark of divine power in defense of the mortal realms. As a bonus action, you gain the following benefits for 1 minute. You gain true sight with a range of 120 feet. You have advantage on attack rolls against aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, and fiends. When you hit a creature with an attack roll and deal damage to it, you can also force it to make a charisma saving throw against your spell save DC. On a failed save, the creature is magically banished to its native plane of existence if it's currently not there. On a successful save, the creature cannot be banished by this feature for 24 hours. Once you use this bonus action, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a 5th level spell slot to use it again. So, alright. Advantage on attack rolls is great. Flat out, most of the time you'll be using your attacks. That's a very big part of being a paladin. The great thing is, if you're fighting... I mean, this is more beneficial if you're fighting more than one enemy. If you're fighting the boss, and the boss happens to be an aberration, celestial, elemental, fiend, or fae from another realm, they're gonna make this save. If you try to hit them with it and they fail, this is something they would have to use legendary resistance on. Otherwise, they're banished back to their realm, which is just kind of a really bad way to end the end game combat. But if you're fighting a bunch of them, where say you're fighting a whole bunch of fiends and aberrations, right? There's going to be a couple of them that aren't the big bad. Boom, pop one, send it back to his home realm. Pop the other, do the same thing. Is a great way to eliminate the enemy numbers. And that's the real cool part about this ability, is as you go through, you're kind of just punishingly removing entities from the table. This is a great way to be, if you're surrounded by a couple of people, take different attacks every turn so that we can try and hit as many people as you can to get as many people out of there. That's really the great thing about this. Obviously, against a boss, keep using it so it has to burn through those legendary resistances, because you really want that, because it helps your full spellcasters and anybody else like that has a strong spell, save or suck spell, because that would make things easier for you in the long run. But it's really, really cool. I like this banishing aspect of it, because it makes you think you're a deity, you're a god. You refuse to have them in your realm, so you send them back. That's a very powerful ability because of who you can use it on and how effective it is, which is a great concept. Because if you hit like an imp, all right, whatever, you sent an imp back. You hit a pit lord or like a really a strong demon or something, and send that back. You look more powerful than that entity, and that will feed that kind of narcissistic ideology that you're here to save the entire world. And that is a great setup in the abilities for who your character will be. The Watcher's Paladin gives you this great setup to be that guy who's guarding against the world and guarding it from evil entities, and that evil kind of just corrupts them. I love that idea because you can keep your fundamental belief system and your purpose and use that to enslave and destroy the world around you. I love it. It's right in that lawful evil kind of realm. It feels good. It feels easy to stream together in any kind of circumstance, because there's always a bigger evil out there. It's always trying to destroy the world, and no matter where you are, it sets you up to kind of really have a need to kind of step to it and be part of that, and to really be the antithesis of whatever incoming doom there is, and then using that victory to coerce the world into following your rule. I love it. It really, really kind of fits in, and it just kind of seems like poetic in that kind of full circle. Like, this is my purpose, and everything kind of floats around my leading people to follow my idea. And I love that. That's one of the things that's great about paladins and charisma characters, because you always can find a way to bring in other worlds and other people and groups to follow you. as that character that's kind of being that hero. That being said, we're going to bring this video to a close. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for keeping through. It really helps the channel and the videos do well. Definitely hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. And a big thank you to our good Patreon supporters. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. What you do for us is amazing. And a thank you to our good friends at Critical Failures. Check us out every Wednesday night. The links to both of those is in the description. And thank you for giving a spooky kid a chance.